Good morning, everybody. I am creating this video because in PLC this week we've talked about creating common assessments, and common assessments can be authentic and performance based, or they can be a little more like this, where like what you would typically use for like an HMH or a Eureka test. And one of the things that we've discussed is when I don't love the HMH test, or there's parts of the HMH test that I really, really like, but some parts of it feel, again, aligned to Texas, or some parts feel really abstract. Or one of the things that I experienced the most last year, which is there's not enough on this test to as far as like questions to tell me whether this kid really knows this standard or not. Like one or two questions to me doesn't always make me feel good about where they're at, um, or if they can evaluate or apply or analyze. With a particular standard. And so sometimes I'd say, I need a little more that I want there. So I'm going to walk you through what are some possibilities if that's the case this morning. So I went to grade 5, and again, any grade should be able to do this. And I went to assessment and just picked a random assessment. And so let's say this is the week you're on, right? And so I opened it up. And so this was the test. And let's say I'm sitting here as the teacher going, this part really covers the standard where they're asking me to make connections with this, with different parts of this drama. And I feel good about when they're asking me to break down the meaning of something. All that looks good. Oh, Lord. Sorry. But then let's say I get to passage number 2, and I'm like, oh, I don't know that this covers the standard as much as I want it to. Or rather, HMH might be prioritizing another standard that I'm not as focused on this week. So let's say I really want to keep the first passage in those questions. Those were great. But I want to shift a little bit on the other half and add some more. So if that's the case, I would tell you to download this test, download, go to this is how I do it. Go to your Google Drive, and then you would upload that test file, upload. And I already did that. So there's the test sitting right here. And then I just click Google Docs, and it opens as a Google Doc. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of editing, but not a ton. So what I would do at that point, and what I've already started, so this is the test once I downloaded it as a Google Doc. And there, again, might be some things you'd want to edit. But then I would go and get rid of those questions that I didn't really want, right? Okay, don't love that part. So once you're at the point where you're like, I want to go and scout out some extra questions now, right? So then I would go to assessments on Master Connect. By the way, that's where I'm at, Master Connect's assessments. And I know this particular test, the priority standard, like let's say this week for me as the teacher, was RL 5.5. So that's what my focus is, okay? So I might go to Mastery Connect and go, okay, here we go. Subject, language arts. It always will drop down to the NC Unpack standards. Class, whatever grade you're in. So again, this was for 5th grade, but you would pick your grade. And then I want to do my priority standard is RL 5.5. So then you'll go and you'll kind of see all of these tests that have been made by other teachers in your community, or just in the Mastery Connect community in general. And you kind of have to do some flipping through. Okay, I'm going to take a look at these. Which ones are really focusing on just RL 5.5? Which ones seem kind of like a mix of things? So this would be primarily RL 5.5. So like with that particular standard, they talk about, again, understanding connections or different parts of a drama, a story, or a poem. And so maybe I'm saying, well, they already included the drama on the HMH test. Let me see how they're doing with the poetry. So maybe I'd want to pull that. Now, one little caveat I want to have is not all tests are created equal. So some of these are, no. So you're going to have to go and do some searching and go, that really does not cover my standard. I don't like the way that question is worded. It's really not meeting the level of the Bloom's verb in that standard. They're not really having to evaluate anything here. They're just identifying, even if they are working with something related to RL 5.5. So be really cognizant and be really picky when you sift through some of this.